I don't have a need for the actual top of the paper to be textured, but I will just hit it in case we do decide at some point to animate this a little bit. So I'm just gently going to just give a little bit of a texture to the edges of the paper on both sides. And then I'll just hit that with the trim dynamic just to polish that up. Whoops. And I'm going to actually show you a really cool technique. It's a way of achieving somewhat of a leathery skin type texture relatively quickly. And in this particular instance, it's going to lend itself well for this paper, even though, again, this paper will be hidden. And just make sure, I notice that I am pulling a little bit in. Kind of like that, though. I like the fact that that is, I'm going to do it on here, too. I like that it's pulling that paper down a little bit. Okay. So let's leave it like that. All right, so that's what we call a happy mistake. So what I'm going to do is change over to my standard brush, which we actually haven't used in this lesson yet. My clay tubes tends to be my go-to brush. But what I want to do now is actually create this texture over the paper. And so if I was to just use the standard brush, you kind of see what it does, and that's definitely not the result we're looking for. What I want to do first is turn my focal shift all the way down. And now, when I do that, you'll see I get this almost like spiral, spirograph type of effect. Don't want that either. What I want to do is bring the intensity way, way, way down. Okay? And just gently hit the surface. Now, you probably can't see it as well at this particular moment, the way the lighting with the shader is. Let me try to switch to another material that will show this off a little bit better. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, let's see if that helps. Yep. I'm going to increase the intensity just for the sake of letting you see how this effect looks. So what's happening is as I'm going over and over and over and over, we're losing this circular pattern and we're getting this really cool, almost like rocky skin type texture that's happening here. But by doing it on a very low setting, we're able to create almost like a leathery skin texture. You can see it a little bit better now with that. So it's essentially aging the paper for us. I'll do it on this side. Even though none of this is going to be seen, why not? And finally on this interior part, on the bottom pages. And so that about does it for the sculpting and texturing of the book pages.